guys, welcome back to the channel. I do apologise, I'm filming this on the Tuesday. I will have filmed it yesterday, but had not been for a public holiday on Monday. Hope you, Western Australian viewers, hope you enjoyed your WA day. Just so you know, we'll be filming on Tuesday due to there's a game of footy on next Monday. I'll explain this in my video today, in this tipping video today. I'd like to pay my respects to Neil Danaher. This is pay tribute to Neil Danaher. Today I was editing last week, and editing last weekend when I found out he died whilst I was trying to do some editing. So anyway, moving along, let's have a look at how it went last week. So first game, well, I was not surprised to Hawksman, but I'm surprised that they smacked Kilda. Then an upset, Carlton. It was a good set of games. Good game. Dan Orange was very happy. About 8% of tippers tipped Carlton, so. And by the looks of the AFL Gauntlet, there's only 16,744 players in it, so yeah. Then Sydney boosted their percentage, another 114-point win. I was very surprised they got belted. I thought they were over that Richmond, but take away positives, they played BS. Then Fremantle won by 25 points over Brisbane. That was a good game, and by the definite fact, they were belting Brisbane at stages. And then my upset tip, well, that went well. Western Bulldogs got the job done over Collingwood, and my hunch worked. GIS got the job done over Melbourne, and the West Coast Eagles won by 30 points. And let's have a look. My fantasy score went well last week. I had a good 1,428 on my fantasy. I've done my trades, and I'm hoping to do well this week. Let's have a look at this weekend's round of footy, and this is a big one. So it starts with Adelaide taking on Geelong Cats on Thursday. Well, should be a cracker. We saw a cracker between these two sides earlier this year at GMHBA Stadium, and I'm glad to see they're playing each other twice. So this is the first of the double-up fixtures. And these teams that have played each other before will be playing each other again. And like for example, Adelaide and the Cats. And it looks like the Crows coming off a bye. They have had a 14-day break between games because they played last Thursday and had the week off last week. And I'm expecting about a good contest here. This game was ugly at GMHBA, but it should be better because it's Adelaide Oval, and the Crows. They did well. They did well against the Hawks, so they nearly beat them. However, Geelong, well, I'm putting that loss to Carlton aside. Carlton was the better side of the day. They wanted to win more. Now it's a classic. It could have gone either way. I'm going to tip the Cats here. I'm tipping them by 5 points, and my big call is Tex Walker into his return to the side. If he returns, kicks 3 goals. Then we went to Friday Night Footy, and we head to the MCG for Hawthorn versus West Bulldogs. Just as a slight note, there's no games at Marvel Stadium this week, and I'll explain why, because there's marquee games, and there's a heap of marquee games this round. And the game on Friday is the 5:40 game. It's Hawthorn versus Western Bulldogs. Hawthorn, well, they had a good win over. Let's have a look at who they played last week. This game wasn't. They belted the absolute crap out of Secura, and I'm not surprised that happened, though I'm expecting it to much more closer affair. Western Bulldogs, well, they're coming off a good win over Collingwood, so both teams are running on a bit of momentum. I'm expecting good things. This game should be good. However, I'm going to tip the Hawks here. It's Bulldogs I don't trust around big sides. I'm also going to tip the Hawks here by 15 points. And big callers, Gunston kicks free. Then we head down to Bunbury for the Super Saturday. There's 3 games on because it's buys. But action starts at 2:15 between North Melbourne taking on the Freo Dockers. And I'll be at this game if you want. I'll be at this game. You probably will see me around the ground, at the ground. That day I'll be wearing a Fremantle stealth jumper. If you want to say hello, say hello. And I hope you will enjoy experience in regional Western Australia. Fremantle, where do we begin? They have been on fire from the vast majority of this season. Geelong lost aside, and we were on fire during that, but we choked. They won a thriller on last week against they had the week off, to be honest with you. They had the week off and they headed down to Bunbury, but they won a thriller against Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago, and it should be about a good contest here in Bunbury. Fremantle, well, they've never played here before, except for when we played our inter-club pracky match earlier this year. I'm going to tip Fremantle, but mainly because I'm side, but I think they can do the job here. I'm going to tip, I reckon Fremantle will win by 5 points. It will be just as good as the last time these two sides played. An 11-point win for the Docker Country at Optus as a North game, home game. And big call is Paddy, somehow I get up at A. One is A, somehow I end up on the news, and B, the three-headed monster contributed 11 goals last week. I'm expecting about 9 goals from the three-headed monster, that is. And if it exceeds it, well, I'm fine. Then we have that's Amos, Voss, and Tracy. Then we head to the first Q Clash of the year. It's surprised it's being held this late. Having said that, though, it's Queensland Day on Monday, so they're setting up the start of this weekend. So it's a 3:15 game. It's the Gold Coast Suns versus Brisbane Lions. It's at People First Stadium. Gold Coast, they had a bye last week, and before that they nearly beat North, but as usual, the post-Darwin form returned. They took the foot off the gas and they paid the price against North. But Brisbane, I'm still not sold on. It's completely still. They had that typical slump. Around this time every year they slump before they gear themselves up for the September run. I reckon, because it's a Gold Coast home game, last time they played at the Q Clash, it ended up being a belting. Gold Coast got smashed in the final game, the finals match, but when they last played People First, the Gold Coast Suns had a good win. I reckon Gold Coast can win by 15 points, and the big call is Matt Rao racks up 15 plus disposals. Then we head to the second game in Western Australia, so therefore you can, once from this game, you'll be getting just in time for start, depending on the traffic in Perth. So drive down from Bunbury all the way up to Perth Stadium, 2.5 hour trip from Hands Oval, and you can head all the way up to Optus for West Coast Eagles taking on the Port Adelaide Power for the West Coast Eagles' Big Freeze event. Well, last week Port had a bye, but the week before, let's have a look. They lost to Carlton. And the West Coast Eagles, they're coming off a very good win over. And they're coming off a very good win over Essendon. They needed that. However, this is very winnable. Port lost to West Coast earlier this year. This is the second of the double-up fixtures. So I'm going to tip the Eagles here by 5 points. And my big call is Warren kicks straight, kicks 3 goals. Then we head to all games from this point onwards. I'll make note in video. Then we head to the SCG. This was meant to be a Pride game, but couldn't be due to a certain team. It's Sydney Swans taking on the St Kilda Saints at 1:15 for the annual SCG game with the King's birthday run. Well, this game might be ugly. Sakura got smacked the crap out of by Hawthorn, and I'm not surprised that happened. Sam Flannels going down with an Achilles injury did not help their cause. Sydney, well, their second straight home game, and the first one, well, that ended very well. They smashed. 114 points is not to be sniffed at. If that, I'm going to tip Sydney here. It's the St Kilda. I'm not convinced yet. I'm going to tip Sydney here by 35 points. And big call is Amati kicks 2. Then we head to the interim coach cup, the King's Birthday Eve match. This will be a very potent fixture for Essendon because this is their another MCG home game. It's against the Blues. Who would you think, for a few weeks ago after they sacked Voss, Carlton will be on a 3-game winning streak? It's so typical of Carlton, and they can still make it into the wildcard. They just need to make up a bit of points, but they've got a good fixture coming up, so that could be possible. Essendon, well, they were quite frankly quite crap against the West Coast Eagles. But having said that, though, they were meant to sack Brad Scott on Monday, but due to Dan Hurt passing away that same day, they decided to hold off until Tuesday, so they didn't have enough time for Dean Solomon's game plan to be implemented. But Carlton are looking the goods. I'm going to tip them this week. I hope I don't regret orange. I think Carlton will win by 5 points, and big call is it's going to be a shit affair. I reckon about 30,000 will show up at MCG. It's going to be a crap game. Bottom versus 14th. I'm expecting this game to be a shit fest. Then I've got a Monday match this week. It's the Collingwood Magpies taking on Melbourne. Well, Melbourne played. They taking away their accountancy. The Alice Springs game. They don't like playing there. They probably should move out at some point. I hope, but Melbourne are back to their fun and dangerous slot of a 3:15 start in Melbourne, but on a Monday. Collingwood, well, they love it when Collingwood choke, because they choked badly against the Western Bulldogs last week. And the Pies, the last 2 games, well, Collingwood won the last 3 in a row. And the Pies, well, they've been good against the crappy sides, but they've been shit against the good sides like Fremantle. I'm going to tip the Demons here because I think they're a good side. I reckon the Demons win by 5 points, and my big call is that Matty Jefferson kicks forward. The buys this week are GOS and Richmond Tigers. Well, the tips are locked in this week because there's Monday night. Just so you know, there's going to be a weird quirk this week. All games will be televised on Channel 7, depending on your state. The majority of games in Western Australia will be televised onto Channel 7 for the first time since the deal change. And we've got Adelaide Geelong, Hawthorn Doggies, North Freo, West Coast Port, Sydney St Kilda, and Essendon Carlton, and Collingwood Melbourne. Every seven games, all 7 games will be televised somewhere on Channel 7 this week. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tipping video. I'll be back to be a bit more semi-regular. I am on a Tuesday slot for a while because of the King. I can't do anything on Monday due to it's a this is the football on Monday. I'd rather be my information to be accurate when I present them to you than what I'm going to do. Though having said that, though, I do need it for one team though, because the other team has a bye on that Monday. We play on that Monday. So, hope you enjoy this tipping video. I shall see you in my next one. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. I'll be back. And by the way, I'm on track to do a punishment. Check out my creativity video. I predicted us to win 3-0. And we need to win tonight's game and the 4th of June and Thursday's game to try and win back the Jonas War Trophy. We need to win it. Come on, Aussies.